Jordan was like, I never was a drummer before I came to Temple. You can move the chairs. So if you want to, like, make it I think that's the move. It feels awkward. I'm going to make an executive decision that we sit all in the same kind of style so that, but, like, you don't have to be close if you don't want to. Let's just, like, do one of these so that we can all, like, there we go. Make one of these. Whoever set this up clearly doesn't know how loud I play guitar. Oh, I figured it was Mike or Kevin, but oh no, but you wouldn't think about how. But I mean, if you're sitting, I mean, sit there. Like, how's it going?
Good.
We're like,
yeah, we're having a
panim al panim.
Yeah.
Tuchus al tuchus.
You know, when I set up the meditation services, this is how I do it. And
Well, I feel like that's got like a softer vibe to it.
yeah, softer vibe than Shabbat.
Would you guys like to move your chairs so we can all be part of the same circle? Let me put it this way. It would make me feel much more comfortable if we could all sit kind of in the same style and be part of the same service. Nice haircut. I didn't know if you weren't feeling it and you just wanted to ignore it, you know. But I think it looks good. It looks great. Camp Kingswood, Camp Kingswood. That's how I imagine the theme song to go. Okay. That was a little. It's always a little awkward when you do things new. Is the air on? I guess.
There we go. All right. Can you hear me? What did he say?
Check, 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 check.
Check, check,
Okay.
check.
There we go. Check.
Baruch atah Adonai.
Check, 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 check. There we go. That was much better.
Eloheinu. You know,
Could have been
the
on
thing about it is you got to be informal on Shabbat Shuvah because you're so formal on Yom Kippur.
There's Shabbat
you
Shuvah, and then there's Shabbat Saka. Like a sock. I was just making a joke since he said to be informal.
Oh, I thought you were referring to a real thing.
No. No. Sometimes I think about how ridiculous can I make up of something and people will believe me and know that it was Jewish. There you go. That's funny.
It's the best. I know. I know.
All right, let me just
It's like,
more things in my pocket.
wait, special days. Special days.
My old guitar back. I didn't trust the other guitar. Old Faithful. That's yes.
Man,
Actually, it's a different one, but
Xander, Camp Kingswood is 110 years old. This is really, really. It's very impressive. That's an early summer camp right there. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready?
All right. Yep.
Let's do
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la yalla la, yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la yalla la, yalla la la la, yalla la. Yalla la la la, yalla la la la. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Well, you know what it would be great to do is to invite Shara and Miriam and Xander up to light the candles tonight. And we're on page 121.
Do you want to move them, or should we leave them right there?
No, we can leave them right there.
Great.
We're good. We're good. We'll leave them right there.
If you're at home and you can't see the candles, it's because we're going to leave them
Where they
where
are.
we know that they're safe.
Okay. So, Xander, why don't you, with your mom, and Miriam, why don't you read page 121. Hang on, we're just going to have Miriam read.
Put this over here.
All right, wait. So, here we go. As these Shabbat candles give light.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who may behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the many generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our day, be among those who kindle light.
Okay. We join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Xander.
Page 128. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achyot gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achyot gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim, shevet achyot gam yachad. מה יפה היום, שבת שלום. מה יפה היום, שבת שלום. שבת, שבת שלום. שבת, שבת שלום. שבת, שבת שלום. שבת שלום. מה יפה היום, שבת שלום. מה יפה היום, שבת שלום. There's something nice about starting with those two songs. How good and pleasant it is that we're all dwelling here together. We're all praying in here on this wonderful Shabbat Shuvah. I got it. Thank you. And what a nice day it is. How lovely it is. And so I want you to take a second and think about what was your favorite part of today.
And feel free if you
And maybe if there's a few people want to share. Yeah, what was?
that would be really nice.
Go ahead, Jay.
Oh,
Nice.
Jared, it's so sweet. Miriam, go ahead. Oh, that's very exciting. Very exciting. Are they new or are they just tuned up now? They're new. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh my gosh. That was a big investment.
What was your favorite part of today? Or-
Getting new skis and boots and snow pants.
Excellent. What a great fun that is.
I loved the no humidity today. That was one of my favorite parts. Just like finally a day without so much humidity.
My favorite part of the day was that Harold Foster came into the synagogue this morning, and we met and we rolled the Torah to Leviticus, the holiness code, which is the exact center of the Torah, and Harold just practiced chanting, and it was so wonderful. And he's been doing this for years and years, and it was a thrill just to kind of spend a few minutes with Harold, celebrating both his dedication to the synagogue, but also the words of the Holiness Code, which are so inspiring, and which we'll hear on Monday afternoon at 3:30. That was a great part of my day.
Any others?
Oh, which you did early before you got here.
Yeah.
Oh, very lovely. That is so nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wonderful.
very that. Listen, I know. Marilyn, if it's any comfort, I still do that. I get so flummoxed when it doesn't work, and then Annie says, "Just turn it off and let it go to sleep, and then turn it back on again." And amazingly enough, it always does it. Yeah, I know.
Let's go to page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, peace be upon us all on this Shabbat.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Borchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch.
Page
Before we
one.
go, before we move on, I wanted to share something the rabbi and I talked about. Rabbi's like, what is he going to share? We were planning on the family services. We were planning them, all the cues. And we said, do we want the music to sound more traditional, or can we throw in some new melodies? And one of the things Rabbi said that kind of inspired me in my song selection so far was I want it to sound like Yom Kippur. I want it to sound like the High Holy Days. In order for that to happen, based on what you had considered that, it means a balance of melodies, reminding yourself that some of these melodies have existed for a long time, and they have their place, but also trying some new things too. And so I thought as we're kind of reflecting during these 10 days that it was kind of a nice thing to put back out there to remind ourselves not to abandon the old in an effort to kind of push to the new.
Thank you. And indeed, this is the eternal, not struggle, but the eternal challenge of Jewish life. To be both rooted in the past and looking forward to the future. And how challenging that can be. And the Reform movement, because of our emphasis on being forward-looking, is a movement that constantly challenges itself to both embrace new music and to remember the past. And it probably, if I had to say, errs on the side of embracing the new more than revering the past, because that's what the nature of Reform Judaism is. It moves forward. But even so, on the High Holy Days, I kind of feel that sense of, I hear my great-grandfather's voice, even though I've never met my great-grandfather. I hear his voice singing the liturgy. So, page 144. It is true. It is true. That many people feel that the Osa Shalom, for example, was handed down at Sinai, but it wasn't.
Take a guess when it was written. Anybody know? Other guesses?
1964.
Or you're the closest. 67. It was 67.
Yeah.
And we were told that when Chava Morel came to visit us here, and she told us that she was in the room with the person, and that person told her when they wrote it.
Yeah.
And so.
Wow. All right.
144.
144.
Yitkada v'yitkada shemei rabba.
Amen.
B'alma divarach hirute v'yamlich malchute. V'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayedecho beit Yisrael. Bagala bagala uvizman karim.
V'yimeru.
Amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach. La'alam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach. V'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalav. Shemei Kudusha.
Berichu.
Leila min kol birchata v'shirata.
Tushbechata
v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma. V'yimeru.
Amen. And we rise for the Baruch Hu, page 146.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yalla lie lie lie. 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 la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ooh, 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 ooh.
You may be seated. We continue with our service with Ahavat Olam, which you'll find on page 150. This particular moment in time, as we are between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the gift of Torah seems ever more important to us in a world that can sometimes feel off-centered. Indeed, God gave us Torah and love in order to guide us, in order so we might find our way. We haven't necessarily done it, but it's there for us to read, and it's given to us in love. Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Otanu limadeta Aken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu U'kumenu na'asiyah b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratcha U'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu Be'orach yameinu Uvahem nege yomam v'layla Nege yomam v'layla Be'ahavatcha al tasir Mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Ohev amo Yisrael.
And together, as one family, we rise, we affirm God's oneness and the oneness of our Jewish people. We return to our best selves, or at least we make the effort to return to our best selves on Shabbat Shuvah. And it begins with this affirmation.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto Leolam Va'ed.
You may be seated.
So, Rabbi always asks this question to people, and I wanted to ask it in this group. Does anybody remember what words in Ve'ahavta Rabbi likes to talk about? There are two words specifically. Ooh. Tell us.
Veshinantam levanecha, which means, and you shall teach your children. However, I asked a couple of weeks ago if anyone knew what the Hebrew root of Vishinantam, or shinan, was.
Oh, it was
Remember?
something strange, right?
Yeah,
What-
something. Teeth.
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 Right.
So, Judy, since you got that exactly right, why do you think it's shinantam, which is connected back to teeth? Mhm. It is certainly one of the connections.
What
for
else,
sure. Miriam? Oh.
Our teeth.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so that there are, of course, every tooth has a root. I'm the son of a dentist, don't you know? And that every part of our learning is based in roots that are formed. Jacob.
So yours is a joke, but I was gonna say
No, it's not. It's
some
only-
teaching does not happen by talking. A lot of teaching actually is done by modeling, and it got me thinking about animals who grab from the back of the neck, like the
Oh,
young
yeah.
ones, and they like kind of teach them how to be, and just the things that we pass down by modeling as
Yeah.
well.
It's good. The other midrash that I've read about that is that when chewing is a repetitive activity, and that the repetition of what one does with one's teeth in chewing is actually the repetition needed in order to either memorize and or internalize the lessons of Torah, so that you do it again and again and again, and chewing is something we do again and again and again in order to internalize it. So there you go. That is
That's the
some
one.
of the
That's
many
the one I like the best.
some of the many interpretations. That's because the rabbis created that one. But that's why, because really there's a whole nother word for teaching, right? Which is lilmod, is to teach. But it's not the one used here. And the translation, of course, is impress them, and one impresses with one's teeth. One makes an impression with teeth. Also, the son of a dentist would know that too. All right.
154.
ואהבת
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
And as we leave Egypt, which I'm afraid we do probably each and every day, is the exodus from the narrow places, Mitzrayim, in order to find the light, we ask ourselves, what does freedom mean? We ask ourselves, does freedom mean carte blanche? Or does freedom mean making decisions for the best, both for you and for other people?
Soren shared some good thoughts at the family service about what it means to be free. Do you remember any of the pieces that you shared? Everyone reading? Okay.
Well, the the idea from your reading was that a lot of people are not free, right? Obviously, literally, black people were not free for centuries in our in the United States, and that the reading pointed out that many people who are impoverished are not free either, because their economic choices are so limited, and they struggle each and every day, and you really can't be free under those circumstances. And so when we cross the sea into freedom, it's up to us to ask us, well, what does that mean? And if we enjoy freedom, shouldn't we make sure that everyone else does too? The Michamocha is found on page 158 as we sing the
do you
song
want to add something? Yeah,
of redemption.
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brandon, go ahead.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely, and that's a big step in the right direction for our state, and for the image that I think we have and should have, and to remind people that, like many other states, we're a very diverse state, religiously, racially, and otherwise. So, and ethnically. So, very nice. Thank you for adding that, Brendan.
So we'll continue with Michamocha on 158. And while we're singing, I'll leave you with this big question of where do you feel the most free? And where are places in your life that you wish you had a little more freedom? Yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai. Yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai. Ya lai la lai la lai la 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 lai. Yai la lai lai la 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Malechutecha ra'u ba'anecha, pokei hayam livnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'lianu ve'amru, Zelianu ve'amru Adonai lo le'olam va'ed Adonai lo le'olam va'ed Ya lai lai la lai la 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 Ya lai lai la lai la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 la. Rabbi talked about repetition, and as we were playing that melody, I was thinking about how in about 4 months we'll be getting the tambourines out for Shabbat Shirah, and hopefully dancing along with Miriam's song. And yeah, right? It's only the beginning.
We did.
And it got me thinking about Hashkivenu, where we ask God to lay us down in peace, keep us safe and sheltered, and allowing us to feel renewed. And so as we were finishing that song, I thought to myself, where do I feel renewed, and how do I feel renewed? And oftentimes it's through what you said about the repetition, of having these moments where I mark and look forward to. And so sitting down has given me a different perspective on kind of leading in that way. I haven't done it in a while. But also looking forward to the things that have become 10 posts in my life, such as the first day of religious school, Shabbat Shira, things that I work hard to, put together and feel good about. So I want to leave you with this question of, where do you find peace? Where do you find shelter? Let there be love.
Page 160.
And understanding among us. Let and friendship be a shelter from thy storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Page 162 is the Vishamru, and we celebrate Shabbat with Vishamru, and it's the prayer that does celebrate Shabbat specifically. And speaking of dancing for Shabbat Shira, if you want to, you can twirl, you can get up, you can play the bongos, whatever it is that you like to do on Vishamru, because we're celebrating together.
But note that at the end of the English it says, and was refreshed. Whatever you need to do to feel refreshed, that's really the goal. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoretam berit olam. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoretam berit olam. Beini uven b'nei Yisrael oti leolam, oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoretam berit olam. Ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz veshamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat lasot et hashabat ledoretam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoretam berit olam. One more time. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoretam berit olam.
We're going to rise for the Amidah. Remember, it's Shabbat Shuvah. We'll be adding liturgy. As the only Shabbat we do, but we do.
Anananananana Adonai. Anananananana Sfatai Tifta. Anananananana Ufiagi. Ufiagi Tehilatecha. Anananananana Adonai. Anananananana Sfatai Tifta. Anananananana Ufiagi. Ufiagi Tehilatecha. 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak,
Ve'Elohei Yaakov,
Elohei Sarah,
Elohei
Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot, u'mevi geula livnei b'neihem, למען שמו באהבה זוכרנו לחיים מלך חפץ החיים בכותבנו בספר החיים למען חי אלוהים חיים מלך עוזר מושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה 168 אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע מוריד הטל מחלקר חיים בחסד מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך מלך מימין ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה מי כמוך אב הרחמים זוכר יצוריו לחיים ברחמים ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל 170 אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated.
ברוך אתה אדוני המלך הקדוש. Thank you.
Amen. It's always that last one. It's always that is. It is. Yeah.
You know what it is for me? It's getting used to falling out of when you're used to doing something over and over. Oftentimes you can feel not necessarily complacent, but you get into your rituals. Yeah, a little rote. And what a nice reminder it is that even when you know something is supposed to happen, you have to make a point to do it. Look at the asterisk.
Look at the asterisk.
I like that.
That's the asterisk.
There's a sermon in there somewhere. Look at the asterisk.
Yeah, no, I think there is.
Tell you what, Jerry, do you want to read one for us on 171? The top?
Days pass and years vanish, and we talk silence among mortals. God, fill our eyes with seeing, our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illuminates the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed. And we, clay touched by God, will reach out in holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place if we did not know it.
Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
You know, I'm going to say, such a beautiful reading, and we never do it because it's on the opposite page from Takadosh, even though it's a gorgeous reading. Hi, Levine family. It's so nice to. That's all right. It's nice to see you. Welcome. Okay. Thank you, Jerry. Let's continue on page 177 and read together at the top of the page our prayer for thanksgiving and gratitude. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ucha na'eh lehodot. And our prayer for peace, Shalom Rav. In the cabinet,
So I had this thought during Vishamru, but I wasn't going to say it. I have a theory that the two songs, maybe there's a third. Misha Berach by Debbie Friedman, Shalom Rav by Jeff Klepper, and the Vishamru, which I don't know the origins of that. Those three are the melodies that people look forward to hearing the most at a service. So that's my theory, and I'll look forward to hearing your thoughts over Oneg about which are your favorite. Because if you have a favorite, we want to throw it in so that you can feel like you're where you want to be.
We sing Jeff Klepper's Shalom Rav. By the way, for those of you who may not know, Jeff Klepper is the cantor emeritus at Temple Sinai, just to the north of us in Sharon, Massachusetts, where Cantor Klepper has been there for ever and ever.
He was also our guest performer, our guest artist at the Joint Reform Shabbat on Zoom at Temple Bethel. And there are rumors that Dan Nichols, who's a beautiful songwriter, awesome songs, gorgeous, will be there this year. So it's in March. So
make your reservations
Yeah.
now.
oh right, I do remember somebody said that. I wasn't here for it though. Yeah. What's that? I know, right? He ate at Barrington Pizza. I took him. He got an eggplant parm. Shalom Rav, Val Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Val Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon, L'chol hashalom, ki atahu melech adon, L'chol hashalom, shalom rav, al Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom rav, al Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם.
Please take a few moments now for silent prayer and for the meditation in your hearts.
Page 179. Great is peace, for peace is to the world as leaven is to the dough. Great is peace, for even in a time of war, one should begin by attempting to arrange peace. I'm often marveled by these footnotes, the things that we don't necessarily look at, but I hope this new year allows you space to look at the footnotes, both literally and figuratively. Chorus goes like this. Hey, oh, oh, hey, oh, add your voice. Hey, oh, hey, oh, lo yesagoy el goy cheret, lo yimadu od milchama, lo yesagoy el goy cheret, lo yimadu od milchama. Hey, oh, oh, hey, oh, oh, so just indulge me for 1 second. Close your eyes. Think about the youngest person you know. Now think about their children. What it might look like for them to have children. And the very real possibility that that generation might not know what war is. That they might only know peace and love and friendship. What would it look like for us to begin that journey right now? And how will we add to that in this year to come? Hey, oh, oh, hey, hey, oh, oh, hey. Lo yesagoy el goy chere, lo yimadu od milchama, lo yesagoy el goy chere, lo yimadu od hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey.
And that beautiful meditation for peace. Our friend Soren pointed out that the Shalom Rav also has an asterisk by it too for Shabbat Shuvah. And so it's necessary to say, Baruch atah Adonai oseh hashalom. Blessed are you, God, maker of peace, or doer of peace. That is, you inspire us to make peace, and so we do make peace. I know, it really should be, and yet it's just the one. It's just the one.
I will say this is a perfect opportunity to add it. This past year, Kay and Jacob worked with me to form and craft a service that could really feel authentic for Pride Shabbat. And it's our goal to maybe do that with a few more services this year. Leslie does a wonderful job with Shabbat Shira. But we have other themed Shabbats, such as Refugee Shabbat, that Elizabeth Bax is in charge of, and perhaps some others. And if you have anything that you'd like to add, or even a theme, come talk to our ritual chair, Jerry, or come share, come be part of things. If you have a blessing or something you'd like to offer up this community, we'd love you to speak up and say so.
So we move from that plea for peace for the world and for ourselves. We also move from peace to healing. If there are people in your lives, friends, loved ones, family members, in need of healing, please feel free to name them aloud or within your hearts. For our own community, we're thinking about Carol Knopf and about Seymour Glantz, miraculously as it is. For Ed Nelman, thinking about Ed, and Rabbi Rosenberg, making sure that he's all right from his. Rabbi Rosenberg had a fall on his bicycle, so we're thinking about you, Rabbi Rosenberg, and hoping that you're feeling better very soon.
Also, anybody who's suffering of some of the invisible diseases or things that aren't necessarily outward illnesses that you can kind of recognize, but the people who are struggling with anything on the inside, we're thinking about you tonight as well.
Thank you. Thank you. And my brother-in-law, Larry, who's suddenly in the hospital. He seems to be all right, I suppose, but they're just doing tests. So, thinking of you, Larry, this evening, my sister's husband. Baruch atah Adonai Rafei HaCholim. Blessed are you, God, healer of the sick. We pray together on page 371. Debbie Friedman's Mishaberach. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. So, if there are joys, if there are moments that you wish to celebrate tonight, now is the time to tell us about those moments of like joy. Oh, Brandon, go ahead, please. Start us off. That is fantastic.
Nice.
Mazel tov on your
Mazel
new position. Rizdi is lucky to have you, and I know you'll do a great job. Very, very good.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Brandon. Best of luck to you. Miriam, go ahead. Oh, that is so sweet. Did you find this kitten on the street? No? Did it come to you in a shelter, from a shelter? Work. Oh, okay.
right.
All right, yes.
That
Right.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Oh, very good. So now the kitten is feeling better. I'm sure you took great care. What is the kitten's name? Yeah. Oh. Oh. Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah. No. Good rock and roll iconography there. Oh, yeah, it's true. Yeah. One a legend, the other not so much, but a Jew anyway. So that's nice to hear. And our friend, speaking of Mick Jagger for a moment, our friend Madeline Cantor, who we're also thinking about in terms of prayer for healing tonight. Madeline's dog, who is a Westie Terrier, his name is Jacker. So there you go. And he is always bouncing around, so that's why I think. All right. Something else. Oh, Danny, go ahead, please. Oh, Mazel Tov, Soren.
Yom
Yay.
Holedet Sameach. Yom Holedet Sameach. Yom Holedet Sameach. Yom Holedet Sameach.
Is it possible that you are turning 12?
Yes.
Wow.
Next year you'll be 13.
Wow. Soren
already
already
have a
has,
date.
Brit Mitzvah date, Genesis, right?
Bereshit.
Bereshit. Yeah.
Bereshit,
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
So,
So almost a year from today. Or not today, but
you
a couple
know,
weeks.
it occurs to me, as long as we're doing this, that Jacob and Danny probably should be thinking about who's going to be the Hagbah for that, because it's a serious Hagbah challenge when you're doing Bereshit. So think about that. All right. Yeah. So you might have either someone started working out now because
Yeah.
it's going to be
Holding
a lot.
up.
Yeah. Does the Levine family have anything to share? It's so nice to see you all.
Yeah.
It is the left side. The right side is where nothing is.
Not today.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right.
No.
Quite a birthday.
Oh my gosh.
How
Happy
old did
birthday,
Mark turn?
Rabbi Mark
Oh,
Katz.
my age, 39.
Rabbi Mark Katz turned 39 years old. And curiously enough, his congregant, who is the editor-in-chief of The Forward, Jody Radorin, wrote not about Mark's sermon, but about Angela Buckdahl's sermon,
Which is great.
which I will comment on in October, because it's a really fascinating sermon. She did, and then it turned out she received a lot of hate mail from her congregants, which is always pleasant, let me tell you. For the people that you minister to or rabbi to, and then they send you hate mail. However, it was thought-provoking, no doubt about it. No
Good
doubt
way to
about
say
it.
it.
Okay.
I like
All
that
right.
reframing.
That was
Page 648. Thank you, God, for allowing us to live, allowing us to disagree with sermons, and allowing us to write letters about it and advocate for who we are, allowing us to reach the season together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. My mother-in-law and father-in-law are finally up here. They're settling in their new space. They're on Prospect Street, so it's like kind of right over by the middle school. Yeah, you guys, right? Yeah, a little bit. And we're just so grateful that they found a place and that they're here and that they're healthy and hanging in there. You know?
yay.
So if you're watching.
Also, even though Rabbi Angela Buckdahl, who's the senior rabbi of Central Synagogue, she doesn't know me, but I know her because everyone does. We also send the healing prayers for her because she's got COVID. She's got COVID, yeah, which is just like the worst when you are.
If you don't know who.
Oh, for Kol Nidre?
If you
Really?
don't know who this is, if you go to the Central Synagogue website, you can see some of their services. Cantor Rabbi, Angela Buckdahl was first a cantor and then went back to become a rabbi. She's a very impressive person and a very nice person at that. So, and good voice.
And a great voice,
It's definitely
right.
worth watching at some point.
Yeah. Anyone could learn a lot about Bima presence from Angela Buckdahl because she's got it. Anyway, all right. So I'm not on the bima. We're just sitting here talking, right? So in the New York Times yesterday, a journalist named Elizabeth Spires wrote a piece about apologies, which I thought I wasn't surprised really, because I'm sure Elizabeth Spires is a member of the tribe, and she wrote about how public figures have trouble apologizing, and she gave the examples of Drew Barrymore, who she was going on with her talk show even though there's a writer's strike is going on. So then she felt badly about that, and what Spires is talking about with celebrities is they offer an apology that's not an apology. They'll say something to the effect of, "This is not who I am." Right? And the reason, she said, that they do things like that is because what they want to do is they want to say, we're in the public eye, but the worst thing that we've ever done or a bad thing that we've done does not define us. Right? So in order so it doesn't define us, we want to distance ourselves from the behavior that we do so that we're not tied only to that behavior in the public eye. Now, she also points out Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, who are celebrities, actors that many of you, I'm sure, know, and they defended their old showmate from that 70s show about a criminal charge, and they got identified as that, and Ashton Kutcher said, well, the letter to the judge was only intended for him. I was like, well, that's really not the point. Is that the idea is that if you wrote to him defending your friend from a criminal charge, then that's the problem, not that it was just a private thing. Brandon. Yeah. 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 It's true. It's true. The fact that cameras are everywhere and that microphones are everywhere and that there's everyone's a journalist, right, today, puts them in a unique position. But I think Spires' point is even more important today, right? Because, ethics is about doing the right thing even when no one's watching, right? That's the idea, is that even when no one's watching, you still do the right thing. And then when you don't do the right thing, then it's important to own up to that. Because, what? No, she didn't. Yeah, did Oprah do something awful? Oh, wow, what did Oprah do? Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh. Oh. Mm-hmm. Oh. Right. So that's, yeah. Yeah. And that's another approach to non-apologies, right? Is that I'm so self-realized and so self-actualized that even though everyone's being mean to me because I did something wrong, still I can fend off that, which is, that's a really good example. She also pointed out the Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, who of course is an embarrassment on so many different levels, but never more so than behaving very, very badly in a public theater at a family matinee of Beetlejuice, the musical, and then, of course, denying that she had done any of those things, but then they said, well, now it's on tape, you see, and then once the tape was exposed, and then she was kicked out of the theater, she writes that, she said in responding, I simply fell short of my values. It's like, oh, okay. Which is to say that
That's a good
this,
line for next
right,
time. You
I
know?
fell short of my values. That's another thing that you can say. However, Elizabeth Spires points out, of course, that that's another way of saying that's not who I am. Except that, unfortunately, it is who you are because indeed you did this. Now, right, exactly. That's right.
There's a song where they're talking about catching somebody in the act of doing something, and the guy keeps saying, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me."
Right.
And there's all this evidence that builds up.
Right. So at this season, Spires, who, as I said, must be a member of the tribe, writes that there's basically three things that are involved in Teshuvah, and that is one, that you acknowledge that you did this wrong thing. Like that's the very first thing you have to do, is that you have to own it. You have to be accountable for what you did, as opposed to saying, I fell short of my values. Well, that's obvious because nobody's values are those kinds of behaviors. Indeed, when you feel short of your values or when you do something that's wrong, simply acknowledge that you did this. The second thing is to acknowledge that the thing you did has consequences. Right? There was some harm caused to other people. And usually this is for people like us, it's a family member or someone close to you, a friend, because otherwise it's not so relevant to your life. But by acknowledging that what you did has consequences, that demonstrates a sincerity and a genuineness to your apology. And then finally, the third thing, what's the third thing? Exactly.
And name what you're not going to do.
Name what you're not going to do again.
Like kind of how you're not going to do it again.
Exactly. And then once you do that, once you've said it out loud, that I've named the thing I'm not going to do, and then say it out loud, then if you're presented with those same circumstances, the chances are much more likely that you won't do that thing because you've named it aloud and you've been accountable for what you've done. And that's the critical piece of Teshuvah.
There's more than that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Owning up to it, but then if I wrong somebody, I should make amends to that person, not just saying I'm sorry. But,
Right.
you know,
Right, exactly right. Because sorry is not that difficult, right? The most important thing is that knowing that you've caused some consequence to someone else, make amends.
Can I add something else?
Please, yes.
There's also the piece. I had a difficult situation with a friend today, or yesterday, when I said, I have a hard time when people say on Facebook or whatever social media, I'm sorry to everybody that I've wronged. Please forgive me, because it's not Shuvah. It's not. And then she challenged me a little bit, or in a way that got me to land in a place of, well, maybe there's unintended consequences to everything that I do. And if I'm aware of something beyond myself in each choice that I make, I'm sure I did hurt someone with a wording that I used in a way that I'm not aware of right now. And so maybe in that way, that's still valid argument still holds up. But it just got me thinking about, where are we trying our best and thinking that we're doing great and not hurting anybody, but maybe having an unintended consequence.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I'm going to add just a paragraph from Spears' column yesterday, which is, the first step is a good apology. In a good apology is acknowledging harm. The second is expressing genuine regret, and where possible, acknowledging our shortcomings. Our intentions are not always good. Sometimes we're selfish. Sometimes we don't know what we're doing. And sometimes we fail to consider the consequences. If we can admit these things, it helps repair trust. And I think those are very wise words as we head into the high holidays. And Teshuvah, by the way, It means return. Returning to ourself, who we know, the good self that we know is inside of us, the self we wish to be, the self that when we are most ourselves, we can look to and say, I'm proud to be that person, and I hope that I can find my way back and return to that best self. May these days of awe, this Yom Kippur, this day of atonement, this day of being at one with oneself, may it be a time when our teshuvah is genuine and we find our way back to our best selves. Brandon, go ahead, please.
A piece of that is the judgment. I think I'll add on to what Rabbi said. I wish you a year full of non-judgment of yourselves, non-judgment of others, and assumed good faith, and starting from that place and moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you all. And again, I wish everyone a very, very spiritual and meaningful Day of Atonement. Let's rise for the Aleinu, page 586.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, v'atzin kitunu aliyotze bereshit, shelo asanu kigoyei aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpechot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'goralenu kechol hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
591.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו 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 אחד.
You may be seated. At this time, we remember those who died in recent days and those whose families are observing a yahrzeit this evening. If you should hear the name of a loved one, please be sure to stand up so we may acknowledge your status as a mourner. And then at the conclusion of the list, we'll all stand up in support of those who mourn. In Shiva and Shloshim, we remember Ronnie Newman, beloved wife of Barry Newman, beloved grandmother of Electra Newman. We remember Samuel Buckler, a beloved family friend, Bonnie and Mark Jaffe, and of course of Brandon Winkler. Sharon Levine, beloved aunt of Justin Kupperman and great aunt of Bryce and Leila Kupperman. We also recall at this time those who died at this time in years past, those whose yahrzeits fall on this Shabbat of Shabbat Shuvah. We remember Leo Berkowitz, beloved father of Jane Berkowitz. John Monroe Bentheim, beloved father of Thomas Bentheim. Maxine Bentheim, beloved mother of Thomas Bentheim. Leonard Block, beloved grandfather of Adina Davies. Susan Eisenberg, beloved sister of Barbara Glucksman. Joseph Dansky, beloved brother of Craig Gordon and brother-in-law of Sue Ellen Gordon. Norman Goldner, beloved father-in-law of Barbara Goldner. Stanley Feit, beloved father of Lloyd Fite. Arthur Bierman, beloved father of Alexis Hafkin. Regina Taraco, beloved sister of David Haruska. Harold Dobb, beloved father of Madeline Cantor. Minna Katz, beloved mother of Judy Katz, mother-in-law of Grant Road. Louis Gershman, beloved grandfather of Judy Mincer. Paul Kabuli, beloved uncle of Sandy Rosenberg. And Beatrice Wiseman, beloved grandmother of Andrea Russell. Are there any other names for those who are observing a yurtzeit this evening? And so we all rise together as one family, turn to page 598, and together pray the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chaye echon uv'yom echon, uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei dekudisha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlam araba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, and let us say amen.
Oseh shalom bimramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Please be seated. I'll tell you, only a little piece of us thought it was just going to be the two of us tonight.
Yeah.
Well, we knew that Grant and Judy would be here because they were doing the oneg, and we knew that Jacob and Danny and Soren were going to be here. So
that's true.
at least 5. But we were hoping, but no assumptions. But to see so many people here together, it's wonderful to see all of you, and I hope that
it's so lovely.
It's nice to. They mentioned they wouldn't be here.
Yeah, no, they did say they couldn't be here.
But hopefully you came to some services on Rosh Hashanah in some way, shape, or form. If not, I highly recommend going back and hearing your rabbi's sermon. I particularly liked Erev specifically, but Erev tied together with Maine, it was pure magic, and it's definitely worth listening to.
Oh, thank you, David. And
yeah,
you like?
that's true.
I did enjoy Happiness. I did enjoy the story. Just a preview of a family service for Yom Kippur. It will be a Dr. Seuss story for those, and it will probably be even acted out.
That he had to explain to me for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
About.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you'll see.
go.
You will
I'll
see.
get to
All right. All right. It may not be what you think. Okay. So.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And yet another example of the Jewish man who defines Christmas and the spirit of Christmas. Okay, but we literally created Christmas. Okay, so
That was
literally.
a well-timed joke, though.
I know. So thank you, Judy and Grant, and thank you, Jacob and Danny and Soren, for both greeting and hosting the Oneg. And we do so, and Judy and Grant in honor of Judy's mom, and Danny and Jacob in honor of Soren's birthday, which is next week, next Sunday. Yeah, and I saw special things in the fridge, so I'm excited about that. All right, so Torah study on Zoom tomorrow. It's the Parsha is Ha'azinu, and we will sort of take off from Ha'azinu because that's all you can do with epic poetry. But that's on Zoom at 10 o'clock.
From beret, a sheet,
Yeah.
to ha'az.
Oh yeah, that's right. Very good.
Just saying.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
right there.
It is. It's the last really official Torah portion of the year. Kol Nidre, for those of you who didn't know, is coming up on Sunday, and that's at 8 p.m. Children's service is at 9. Main service is at 11. Break the fast will be at 6. Afternoon service begins at 3:30. Yisker probably right around 4:30. 5. More like 5.
It's more like a family service and
Not
not
a children's
necessarily a
service.
children's
Yeah,
service.
it says children's service, but really it's a family
What
service.
I would say is Rabbi and I have crafted
Yeah.
an easier digestible service with some good liturgy, I think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we put
No.
it together. It
We
looks
have.
a little bit different than it has
Yeah.
in past years, but it's
It's not, it says children's, but really it's not. It's a family
well,
service.
we're all children.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
a good
really
point,
good. That's
yeah.
a good one.
It'll be an indigestible service.
My sister once gave a sermon about food on
Did she really?
Yom Kippur. People did not appreciate
What was
that.
she thinking?
Uh,
What?
I'm hungry.
Yes, actually we did. Yeah. So don't forget, Friday night, Sukkot Shabbat. That's the 29th for Sukkot Shabbat. And that's Tot 5:45. We're outdoors. We're at the Sukkah. And then pizza. Wait, what's the expression? Pizza in the hut. No, hut. Like pizza in the hut. Yeah. That's at 6:15, and then at 6:45 the family service. And Simchat Torah. Listen, guys, Simchat Torah is Saturday night. Okay, there's no religious school the following day. So come, just
It's
come.
gonna be fun. We're gonna have dinner before.
We're gonna have dinner before.
Rabbi has a whole thing where he unwraps the Torah. Many of you were there last year, where unrolls the entire Torah throughout the entire sanctuary and has people hold it while he literally points out different stories of.
I know. See,
It was a
Thank
little
you.
terrifying to
Thank
watch
you,
the
Kay.
children
but
weave in between the Torah, but
no, it's on the 7th. It's on the 7th.
The Torah.
I know. It's very true. Soren's the only person who offers Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness as a literary commentary on Simchat Torah, which I really appreciate. So listen, the more adults that are here, then the less I have to worry about holding it up, right? So we got to come in en masse. We're going to move all these chairs out of here, right? And just dance. That's what we're doing. We're just dancing, okay? All right. So, all right, those are the announcements. We got a lot going on.
a lot
We have
going
a lot
on.
going on. Let's do Kiddush Shemotzi. This is a Briar Challah, you bet. All right, so Wes, Ian, come on up. Miriam, come on up. Soren and Xandra right here. Okay, great. All right. Soren, because it's your birthday, you can. Close enough, or close enough. Turn around for the camera. Come on over. You got your Washington, D.C. All right, lead us out. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Not wine.
I know. There you go.
Wine or juice.
Yeah. All right. Jacob, what a beautiful challah this is. Jacob and Xander, why don't you share that tray right there?
Sorry. You said Jacob. But
Did I say Jacob?
Yeah.
I meant Soren. I meant Soren.
chip off the old block.
I was thinking about Jacob. All right.
Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Say Avon looks great. Go ahead. That really is.
Okay, take from the top.
From the top. Thank you.
Ian, that was very aggressive.
That was-
Should I?
Go ahead.
No,
What?
you can take it.
Oh,
I was
okay.
asking if
Oh.
you should take it.
I do. I think you should. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Soren. All right.
So
Thank
I'm
you,
going to
guys.
offer you a little blessing. It's not necessarily a sing-along song, which is kind of breaking the rules of what you're supposed to do at the end of a service, but I thought this would be a nice thing for you to close your eyes and listen to and kind of allow yourself to internalize maybe what you want to be this next year. Give me a chance to make it right today. Give me a chance to cast it all away. Help me remember that I am worthy of your love. Give me a chance to prove my love to you. Give me a chance to start it all anew. Help me remember that I am deserving for forgiveness. I want to sing your song. I want to be your prayer. I want to live my life in your care. I want to be your voice, to be free from harm. I want to live my life in your arms. Give me a chance to be the best I can. Give me a chance to be just who I am. Help me remember that I am a servant of your will. Oh, give me a chance to step into the light. Give me a chance to make it all right. And help me remember that there is a purpose to my life. I want to sing your song. I want to be your prayer. I want to live my life in your care. I want to be your voice, to be free from harm. I want to live my life in your arms. I want to sing your song. I want to be your prayer. I want to live my life in your care. I want to be your voice, to be free from harm. I want to live my life in your arms. So open, just open, open the gates for me.
Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova, Gamar Chatimat Tova. We'll see you Saturday morning, Torah study, and Sunday evening for Kol Nidre. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Okay. Not really sure how that's how the song goes, but
Is that
my wife taught me how to use the thing where you can watch your kids in class at one point, which is when I learned that Jen is in the same class as my daughter. So I didn't know I could learn it.
inspiring your kids in school? God. I don't know.